Friends star Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry.
Who played Chandler Bing in the globally successful sitcom
Drowned in his jacuzzi
after losing consciousness and likely slipping under the water in his hot tub.
Matthew Perry has died.
She's on the other line. She's going to call me back. She's on the other line. She's going to call me back. She's on the other line. Going to call me back.
Don't you have to pee?
That's why I'm dancing.
Matthew Perry, best known for his iconic role as Chandler Bing on Friends, captivated audiences with his sharp wit and undeniable charm. Rising to stardom as a young actor, he became a defining figure in television comedy, leaving a lasting mark with his performance.
I just want to say hey.
Hey.
Okay.
Despite his success, Perry's journey was marred by personal struggles, which he candidly shared with the public.
Hi, my name is Matthew, although you may know me by another name. My friends call me Maddie, and I should be dead.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Addiction, the big terrible thing, is far too powerful for anyone to defeat alone. But together, one day at a time, we can beat it down.
Your disease is just outside, just doing one-arm push-ups, just waiting for you, waiting to get you along.
His sudden death at just 54 has left a void in the entertainment world, prompting us to reflect on the immense talent he brought to both the screen and his fans. As we grapple with the loss of such a beloved figure at the height of his career, we explore Matthew Perry's legacy and the profound effect his passing has had on the industry, those who admired him and those who profited off of him for their own good. His first chapter. Matthew Langford Perry was born on August 19, 1969, in Williamstown, Massachusetts. His father, John Bennett Perry, was an actor, but his parents separated when Matthew was still an infant. Following the split, Matthew moved with his mother, Suzanne Langford, to Ottawa, Canada. Suzanne held a prominent position as the press secretary for Canadian Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau and eventually remarried. Matthew's stepfather, Keith Morrison, was a correspondent for NBC's Dateline. Matthew attended Rockcliffe Park Public School in Ottawa, where he became friends with Justin Trudeau, who would later become the Prime Minister of Canada. When Matthew was around 15, he relocated to Los Angeles to live with his father and enrolled at the Buckley School, a private institution where he graduated in 1987. As a child, Matthew had two main passions, tennis and acting. He excelled at tennis, becoming nationally ranked in Canada by the age of 13. Giving up tennis wasn't really a decision I had to make, Matthew recalled in a 2012 interview with Men's Health. I was a very good tennis player in Ottawa, Canada, nationally ranked when I was like 13. Then I moved to Los Angeles when I was 15, and everyone in LA just killed me. I was pretty great in Canada, not so much in Los Angeles. Unlike his tennis prospects, his acting career was about to take a very different trajectory. Matthew got his first taste of Hollywood while still in high school, landing a supporting role alongside River Phoenix in A Night in the Life of Jimmy Reardon, 1988. Unfortunately, the film didn't make much of an impact.
Who are you?
Well, don't just stand there, Charles. Say hello to yourself.
In September 1987, Perry stepped into the world of sitcoms with Second Chance. The show had an interesting concept featuring Perry alongside Keel Martin, who played a man given a second chance at life by mentoring his younger self, played by Perry. However, the show was reworked, dropping Martin's character and refocusing on the teenage misadventures of Perry's character. Renamed Boys Will Be Boys, the revamped sitcom still struggled to find an audience and was eventually canceled. After the show ended, Perry bounced around with smaller roles and guest appearances on shows like Empty Nest and Growing Pains. In 1990, he landed a supporting role on Sydney, a short-lived sitcom starring Valerie Bertinelli. That same year, Perry delivered a solid performance as Desi Arnaz Jr. in the TV biopic Call Me Anna, which told the story of actor Patty Duke. 3 years later, Perry took another shot at sitcom stardom with Home Free, where he played a young reporter living with his mother, sister, and her 2 kids. However, the series didn't last long and was canceled after a few months. Matthew Perry eventually found his breakout role in a sitcom that would become iconic.
Can you believe they gave Stephanie skin cancer? I still can't believe they promoted her to lieutenant.
You're just saying that because you're in love with Yasmin Bleeth.
Well, how could anyone not be in love with Yasmin Bleeth?
In September 1994, Friends debuted, focusing on a group of young men and women navigating life in New York City. The show quickly became one of the most popular sitcoms ever. Perry played Chandler Bing, known for his sharp wit and sarcasm. Chandler shared an apartment with Joey, an aspiring actor played by Matt LeBlanc, and was a longtime friend of Ross, portrayed by David Schwimmer. Rounding out the cast, Courtney Cox played Ross's sister Monica. Jennifer Aniston was Monica's roommate Rachel, and Lisa Kudrow took on the role of the quirky, offbeat Phoebe. The chemistry among the 6 actors was undeniable, both on and off the screen. As Friends skyrocketed in popularity, the cast members banded together to renegotiate their contracts, eventually securing $1 million per episode each. The show was a massive hit, especially on Thursday nights, and critics loved it too, earning Friends 62 Emmy nominations over its run. Perry himself received a nomination in 2002 for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Comedy Series. As the series progressed, Chandler's character evolved, particularly through his romantic relationship with Monica. The two eventually married, adopted twins, and by the series finale in May 2004, they were planning a move to the suburbs after 10 memorable seasons. On the personal side, Perry never married, but came close in November 2020 when he got engaged to his girlfriend Molly Hurwitz. Unfortunately, the couple announced their breakup in May 2021. Before this, Perry had relationships with several high-profile figures, including actors Lizzie Kaplan and Julia Roberts, TV executive Jamie Tarses, fashion student Rachel Dunn, and TV producer Gabrielle Allen. The struggles behind the stardom. Matthew Perry's struggles with addiction started early, long before he became a household name. He had his first drink at just 14, and by 18, drinking had become a regular part of his life. While Matthew Perry enjoyed the massive success of Friends, he faced a tough battle with addiction to alcohol and prescription drugs. Reflecting on his rise to fame, he admitted to the New York Times in 2002, "I was a guy who wanted to become famous. There was steam coming out of my ears. I wanted to be famous so badly. You want the attention, you want the bucks, and you want the best seat in the restaurant. I didn't think what the repercussions would be." Unfortunately, along with fame came a dependence on alcohol. Perry's struggles intensified after a jet ski accident in 1997 when he was prescribed Vicodin for pain. What started as a way to manage physical pain quickly turned into something more serious. Perry admitted in 2002 that while he hadn't intended to develop an addiction, the way Vicodin made him feel was something he wanted to experience more often. In 1997, Perry entered rehab for his addiction to the painkiller Vicodin, and by 2001, he had to undergo a second round of treatment. In May 2000, he was rushed to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles for pancreatitis, a dangerous inflammation of the pancreas caused by alcohol abuse, a condition that can be life-threatening. His life was so out of control that on the day he was released from the hospital, he crashed his Porsche into a house. Luckily, the home was empty and no one was hurt. Although Perry wasn't under the influence of alcohol or drugs at the time of the crash, the incident highlighted just how chaotic his life had become. His addiction issues persisted, leading to multiple rehab stays over the years. In his 2022 memoir, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing, Perry revealed that he spent over $7 million trying to get sober and went through rehab at least 15 times. Despite his ongoing struggles, Perry was determined to help others battling addiction. He became an advocate for drug court reform and even transformed his former Malibu home into a men's sober living facility, aptly named Perry House. Things took a more critical turn in the summer of 2018 when Perry, then 49, was rushed to the hospital with a gastrointestinal perforation.
They ran me into the emergency trauma room, and it was in there that my colon exploded. I was in that hospital for 5 months and, escaped death really narrowly.
The doctors told my family that I had a 2% chance to live, he wrote, reflecting on those harrowing early days. Perry's recovery was long and grueling. He had to use a colostomy bag for 9 months and underwent at least 14 surgeries as part of his journey back to health. At the time of his passing, reports indicated that Perry was planning to start a foundation dedicated to helping others struggling with substance abuse.
I would like to be remembered as somebody who lived well, loved well, and his paramount thing is that he wants to help people.
During an appearance on the Q with Tom Power podcast, Perry summed up his mission simply.
The best thing about me, bar none, is if somebody comes up to me and says, I can't stop drinking, can you help me? I can say yes and follow up and do it.
But things would take a drastic turn for himself very soon. The incident, October 28th, 2023.
The death of Friends star Matthew Perry continues to reverberate as the world waits for word on what led to the 54-year-old star's death.
On October 28th, 2023, the world was shocked by the sudden death of Matthew Perry at the age of 54. It was an ordinary day until Perry's assistant discovered him face down in the hot tub at his Los Angeles home. Immediately alarmed, the assistant called emergency responders who rushed to the scene. Despite their efforts, paramedics pronounced Perry dead shortly after they arrived around 4 p.m. The initial news of his death sent ripples of sorrow and disbelief across the globe. As details began to emerge, the Los Angeles County Department of Medical Examiner provided a clearer, though equally tragic picture of what led to Perry's untimely demise. The official cause of death was attributed to the acute effects of ketamine, a powerful anesthetic known for its dissociative properties. The report also listed drowning, coronary artery disease, and the effects of buprenorphine as contributing factors. Perry's death was ruled an accident, yet the circumstances surrounding it were far from simple. Authorities noted with concern that the amount of ketamine found in his system at the time of his death was alarmingly high, sufficient to be used for general anesthesia during surgical procedures. This was well beyond the doses typically administered during ketamine infusion therapy, which Perry had been receiving as a treatment for depression and anxiety. The discovery raised immediate red flags and prompted a deeper investigation by the Los Angeles Police Department and the Drug Enforcement Administration. In May 2024, after months of meticulous inquiry, investigators uncovered a heartbreaking truth. Matthew Perry had relapsed into addiction in the fall of 2023. Despite his public efforts to maintain sobriety and support others in their recovery journeys, Perry had fallen back into the grips of substance abuse. The investigation revealed that the ketamine responsible for his death had been obtained outside the bounds of his prescribed treatment, suggesting a desperate return to old habits in an attempt to self-medicate. The relapse had tragic consequences. Perry, who had spent years and millions of dollars fighting his addiction, had been using ketamine not just as a therapeutic measure, but in doses that far exceeded safe levels. The ketamine, combined with buprenorphine and his existing heart condition, created a deadly cocktail that ultimately led to his death by drowning. But soon, there would be more uncovered. Perry's passing highlighted the ongoing struggles that even the most resilient and determined individuals can face when battling addiction. It was a stark reminder of how insidious and persistent addiction can be, even for someone who had worked so hard to overcome it. The revelation of his relapse and the circumstances of his death cast a shadow over his legacy, yet it also underscored the importance of understanding addiction as a chronic, relapsing condition. The aftermath of Perry's death left a profound impact on those who knew him and the many fans who admired his work and his advocacy. Perry's life and untimely death served as both a cautionary tale and a call to action, reminding us of the ongoing fight against addiction and the importance of addressing it with understanding, empathy, and comprehensive care. The unfolding investigation. The U.S. Department of Justice has charged 5 individuals in connection to the tragic death of Matthew Perry last October. Among those implicated are a former movie director, 2 doctors, Perry's live-in assistant, and a notorious drug dealer known as the Ketamine Queen of North Hollywood. Strangely, no drugs, pills, or medications were found near the pool. At a press conference held on August 15, 2024, Martin Estrada, the U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California, announced the charges against the 5 defendants.
As a doctor, Defendant Placencia knew full well the danger of what he was doing. On one occasion, he injected Mr. Perry with ketamine, and he saw Mr. Perry freeze up.
He highlighted how their desire for profit outweighed any concern for Perry's well-being, warning others who might engage in similar behavior that they were playing roulette with other people's lives. Estrada pointed out that ketamine is a drug that must be administered by medical professionals under close monitoring, a protocol that was clearly not followed in Perry's case. The 5 defendants, according to Estrada, failed to adhere to these critical safety measures, ultimately leading to Perry's untimely death. The co-conspirators allegedly communicated via encrypted messaging apps, using coded language to discuss drug deals. For example, they referred to bottles of ketamine as Dr. Pepper, cans, or bots, in an effort to conceal their illicit activities. The DOJ has filed 18 criminal counts against 2 physicians, 42-year-old Salvador Placencia and 41-year-old Jasveen Sangha. These charges stem from their alleged involvement in distributing ketamine to Perry in the final weeks of his life. As of now, USA Today has reached out to Sangha's attorney for comment, but court records have yet to list an attorney for Placencia. 3 other individuals have been named as co-conspirators who have already pleaded guilty. These include Perry's 59-year-old live-in assistant Kenneth Iwamasa, 54-year-old Dr. Mark Chavez, and 54-year-old movie producer Eric Fleming. One of the most notorious figures in this case is Jasveen Sangha, dubbed the Ketamine Queen of North Hollywood. According to the DOJ's indictment, Sangha used her Los Angeles home as a hub for storing and distributing narcotics, including ketamine and methamphetamine. Officials allege that Sangha, in collaboration with Eric Fleming, sold the ketamine that Perry ultimately consumed. In the days following Perry's death, Sangha reportedly attempted to cover her tracks. She allegedly sent a message to Fleming on the Signal app, instructing him to delete all our messages. She also changed the app's settings to automatically delete their communications. A subsequent search warrant executed by the Los Angeles Police Department uncovered around 79 vials of ketamine at Sangha's stash house. Earlier this year, in March, U.S. attorneys had already filed a complaint against Sangha for possession with intent to distribute methamphetamine. This federal case has since been updated with a superseding indictment, which was unsealed on Thursday, further implicating Placencia in the case. Dr. Salvador Placencia, known as E's Dr. P, is a licensed medical doctor in California. Placencia, along with fellow physician Dr. Mark Chavez, had the authority from the Drug Enforcement Administration to dispense, administer, and prescribe controlled substances like narcotics, provided there was a legitimate medical purpose. However, the DOJ alleges that Placencia disregarded these guidelines, distributing ketamine without any legitimate reason. Text messages uncovered during the investigation show Placencia allegedly discussing how much Perry might pay for the drug, with one message reading,
"I wonder how much this moron will pay."
These messages paint a disturbing picture of Placencia's attitude towards Perry, suggesting that he was more interested in profiting from the actor's vulnerability than in providing proper care. Placencia is also accused of giving Perry specific instructions on how to use the drug and supplying him with syringes, despite telling another patient at his clinic just days earlier that Perry was too far gone and spiraling in his addiction. Placencia allegedly placed an order for 10 vials of ketamine. His actions indicate a blatant disregard for Perry's well-being, as he knowingly enabled the actor's dangerous drug use. The case also implicates Eric Fleming, a former Hollywood director who was an acquaintance of Perry. Fleming's career includes directing the 1999 family comedy My Brother the Pig, starring Scarlett Johansson and Eva Mendes, and producing the first season of the reality show The Surreal Life in 2003. On October 13, 2023, Fleming allegedly visited Sanga's North Hollywood stash house to purchase a ketamine sample. The indictment describes the drug being contained in an unlabeled clear glass vial with a blue cap. Earlier this month, Fleming pleaded guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to distribute ketamine and another charge of distribution of ketamine, resulting in death. He now faces a maximum sentence of 25 years in prison. Dr. Mark Chavez, the other physician involved, operated a ketamine clinic in California. On September 30th, Chavez allegedly agreed to sell ketamine to Plasencia, even going so far as to write a fraudulent prescription for an unnamed victim without their knowledge or consent. Chavez has since agreed to plead guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to distribute ketamine. He could face up to 10 years in prison for his role in the case. Finally, there's Kenneth Iwamasa, Perry's live-in assistant. Iwamasa, who lived in Perry's home and provided around-the-clock care, is accused of injecting Perry with multiple doses of ketamine he received from Fleming and Sanga. This betrayal of trust is particularly alarming, given Iwamasa's responsibility to care for Perry's well-being. Earlier this month, Iwamasa pleaded guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to distribute ketamine and now faces up to 15 years in prison. This case has highlighted the dangers of illicit drug distribution and the tragic consequences of such reckless actions, especially when they involve vulnerable individuals struggling with addiction and mental health issues. Matthew Perry's death has now become a strong reminder of the dark side of Hollywood, where profit and exploitation can sometimes take precedence over human life. Public reaction and tributes. 2 days after Perry's sudden death, his fellow castmates, Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, Lisa Kudrow, Matt LeBlanc, and David Schwimmer came together to release a heartfelt statement. In their message, they expressed the deep grief they're feeling, saying, "We are all so utterly devastated by the loss of Matthew. We were more than just castmates. We are a family." They acknowledged that there was much more they wanted to say, but for now, they needed time to grieve and process this unimaginable loss. Matthew Perry's portrayal of Chandler Bing in Friends made him a household name and earned him widespread admiration. His comedic timing and unique approach to the character were so perfect that the show's creators, Marta Kaufman and David Crane, along with executive producer Kevin Bright, also felt compelled to speak out. In their own joint statement, they reflected on how Perry made Chandler Bing his own from the very start, saying, "It's a cliché to say that an actor makes a role their own, but in Matthew's case, there are no truer words." Maggie Wheeler, who played Chandler's on-again, off-again girlfriend Janice, expressed her sorrow on Instagram, acknowledging the lasting impact Perry had on so many lives. Matthew Perry's journey with Friends was more than just professional success. It was a defining period in his life. He once reflected on the challenges of living such pivotal years in the public eye, noting that while fame brought initial excitement, it also led to difficult times. Yet through it all, Perry found strength in his family and good friends, particularly his friends' castmates, who stood by him during his struggles with substance abuse. In 2021, the Friends cast reunited for a special, and it was clear that their connection had never wavered. Lisa Kudrow commented on how easy it was for them to pick up right where they left off, no matter how much time had passed.
I feel like we can pick up,
Of course,
right where we left off, and no time's passed, so it's okay. We're connected no matter what.
Perry also opened up about how much the cast's support meant to him during his toughest times, comparing their care to the way penguins rally around one of their own.
You apologized to the people you were with, but they had to understand you had met somebody special to you, and you were going to talk to that person for the rest of the night. And that's the way...
I'm not laughing, I'm crying, because it's so true.
That's the way it worked.
Public figures from all walks of life also shared their condolences. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who had a personal connection to Perry through his mother's work with Trudeau's father, called the news shocking and saddening. He fondly remembered their childhood games and noted that Perry's ability to bring joy to so many would never be forgotten. Michael Rappaport, who appeared on Friends as one of Phoebe's boyfriends, described Perry as kind, cool, and talented, emphasizing that he will remain an enduring part of American culture. Morgan Fairchild, who played Perry's on-screen mother, echoed these sentiments, calling his death a shock and offering love and condolences to his friends and family. The official Friends Instagram account also mourned Perry, calling him a true gift to us all. Selma Blair posted a heartfelt tribute on Instagram, reminiscing about their deep bond and expressing her heartbreak. Actress Olivia Munn praised Perry for his bravery in openly discussing his struggles with addiction, expressing sorrow for his family and friends. Legacy and reflection. Matthew Perry's life and career left an indelible mark on the entertainment industry. His struggles with addiction highlighted the challenges faced by many, and his efforts to overcome them offered a message of hope. During his time on Friends, Matthew Perry also explored his talents on the big screen, starring in a variety of films. He appeared in comedies like Fools Rush In, 1997, alongside Salma Hayek, Almost Heroes, 1998, with Chris Farley, and Three to Tango, 1999, featuring Neve Campbell. Despite his efforts, these films didn't resonate much with audiences or critics. However, Perry did find a bit of box office success with The Whole 9 Yards, 2000, where he starred with Bruce Willis and Amanda Peet. The film grossed over $57 million and led to a sequel, The Whole 10 Yards, in 2004. On television, Perry's performance in the 2006 TV movie The Ron Clark Story marked a significant achievement. The film, which tells the story of a Southern teacher who relocates to New York City to work with underprivileged students, earned Perry both Emmy and Golden Globe nominations. Perry also returned to television with varying success. In 2006, he starred in Aaron Sorkin's drama Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip, playing Matt Albee, a talented writer who returns to the comedy show that made him famous. Despite positive reviews, the show was canceled after one season due to low ratings. Perry finally found a hit with the 2015 revival of The Odd Couple, where he played the sloppy Oscar Madison opposite Thomas Lennon's neat freak, Felix Unger. During this period, Perry also had a recurring role on the legal drama The Good Wife, and later appeared in its spin-off, The Good Fight. One of his final roles was portraying Ted Kennedy in the 2017 limited series, The Kennedys After Camelot, alongside Katie Holmes as Jackie Kennedy. Matthew Perry's life was a journey filled with incredible highs and challenging lows, but through it all, he remained a beloved figure in the hearts of many. From his iconic role as Chandler Bing in Friends to his efforts to overcome personal battles, Matthew's legacy will forever be intertwined with the laughter and joy he brought to millions. Though he is no longer with us, the impact he made on television, film, and his fans will never be forgotten. Chandler Bing will always be a testament to his talent, reminding us of the joy he spread. As we remember Matthew Perry, let's celebrate the laughter he gave us and the strength he showed. If you found this reflection on his life meaningful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. Let us know in the comments how Matthew Perry touched your life.
When I die, I don't want Friends to be the first thing that's mentioned. I would like to be remembered as somebody who lived well, loved well, was a seeker, and his paramount thing is that he wants to help people.